So it makes you feel excited. You get to leave your parents' house, but nervous because you don't have any money. People are like, you're an adult. I'm like, I'm an adult with no money. It's a pretty useless adult. Yeah. Well, then you go to college, and you're like, I'm ready to go to college. I don't need to leave my parents' house. I remember August is like the popular time. It was 1995 for me. I went shopping with my parents. I was like, you need a dust ruffle for your college bed. Like, I cannot show up, Mom, with a dust ruffle to college. That's making a statement. That statement is not, I'm a super chill guy here to have fun. So I'm very concerned about dust. Someone help me put my bed skirt on. So I'm going to take that risk. So you're at college. I mean, what they ask you to do to go to college, you can only do because you want to leave your parents' house. I went to Villanova. They sent us a message midsummer. They're like, we accepted too many people, right? Like, they didn't have control over that whole entire operation. You're going to have to live in a room with 2 grown adult men and you. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I get to leave my parents' house. But I wound up sleeping on the top bunk, so that was good. I did not get the dust ruffle, because that would have been really bad. So you're in college, you graduate from there, but that makes you feel excited you're done, but also anxious. You know, you have to get a real job for most people, but we went to dental school, so we're like, we'll delay that for a few years. Your friends had to go out and get a real job. Then you get to dental school that first day. Everyone kind of remembers the first day. I remember the first person I saw at dental school when we got out of our car, no cell phones. I'm like, that guy looks like he's going to dental school. I'm going to follow him. And you go in as like, you know, this bright-eyed person, like I'm here to learn about teeth. Dental school's like, we're going to make you cry. So, you know, it's a very different experience. But you get through that. You graduate from dental school. I mean, that is like one of the greatest, best days because, you know, you get your diploma on stage in some big ceremony. And you want to be like, I did it, dental school. I won. You do not have control over me anymore. But then, like, you gave us $400,000. There's going to be a lot of control for the next 30 years. You got to pay back these loans. So these transitions, you think about it, they make you feel excited, but also a little weird, right? Like if you get nachos, you're just fully excited. No one also feels weird about getting nachos. It's just, so it's an interesting experience when you go through these things. Then you have some personal life transitions, like getting married. You know, that's a great day. It's also very serious. Like we're talking about managing expectations, and I just don't think they manage your expectations for what marriage really is. Like everyone's laughing because they're married. It's like when you do it, when you're doing it, they use these words like, you know, love, happiness, being there for each other. It's like not a full informed consent, right? It should be like, it's way more serious than that. It's like marriage is basically, it is a legal obligation to hang out with the same person for the rest of your life. They put it to you that way, you know. I think people take it more seriously. Like, I'd like to stop hanging out with this person. You're gonna need to get a judge involved in that. So that's a serious thing. But all of those things put together, for me, I listed some of them here, all of those things put together not compared to the biggest game changer of all for me, the biggest transition, and that is having another human being. So this is August 1st, 2014. We're bringing Daphne home from the hospital in her car seat there. So you go into the hospital, it's 2 people, and you leave with a whole extra person. And as you're leaving, you're like, I feel like there should be more rules to this process. I mean, I just came with 2 people, I got an extra person, like should I be taking a test, like doing jumping jacks, Sudoku, something? But they're like, no, just take them home, take your baby home. And you know, we put more training into baristas at Starbucks than to parents, and that's pretty insane, and sometimes you see that out there in society. But there is a rule in Philadelphia, I don't know if you can tell from this picture. It's a rule that makes no sense at all. You have to bring the child home in a car seat. You do not have to have a car. So you bring this up, and look at the child is like, it's like newborn baby frog. Your wife, that is a lot of effort they have done. I mean, Mary deserves like nachos for a long time for having a child. So like Paul, you got to strap your baby frog into this car seat, which is very difficult, into the room. That's the last thing. My name is Paul, Dr. Nacho Goodman, and I help dentists find jobs, connect with offices to work, and a lot of times it goes awesome. But there are times where it does not go so awesome. Times where nachos get dropped or burned. Imagine being a dentist, leaving a job to start your own practice, and the job that you are leaving, the office demands that you delete your social media accounts. That is a true story from a dental nachoer who's going through a legal battle to not only keep the social media accounts that they've created, but also use their name for their practice. There are a lot of ways that associate contracts can cause problems. The best way is to be prepared and aware about what you're signing, how to connect with a dental-focused attorney, and what makes sense and what does not make sense. We are here to help you at Dental Nachos with our Job Connect program. If we can help, just reach out to jobconnect@dentalnachos.com or contact our Job Connect coordinator, Jill@dentalnachos.com. We would love to help you find a great job, but even more importantly, steer clear of ones with red flags.
Hey, dentistry friends, Paul, Dr. Nacho. You'll see me in a second. I know everybody likes a good prize, and we're going to talk about Nacho tips to help you with your first job, getting a better associate position, and your only practice purchase, because most dentists only purchase one practice. So it's important that one of the biggest decisions of your life, I mean totally the biggest decision of your life, buying a practice, is one that you make by being prepared and aware. What will you get if you text in these codes? If you text MENU to 215-543-6454, you will get a 60-minute course on me talking to a real patient for an implant consult, a missing tooth consultation, one of our best courses. Text in MENU, you can rent it for 48 hours for free, may help you talk to patients in a way that makes more sense tomorrow. If you're here and you're looking for a job or to hire an associate, or you will be looking to hire one in the next few years or get a job in the next few years, text job to 215-543-6454, and you will get a list of all of our open positions across the US. If you'd like to find out more about how you can list your job or find a job, just email jobconnect@dentalnachos.com. If you text GIFT to 215-543-6454, we're going to keep this active for a few more days. You can get all the 12 free C courses in the 12 days of Nachos. One is from a dental-focused attorney teaching you how to navigate the wacky world of practice transitions, finding a job, restrictive covenants, and more. And CASO, which was 215, not 251. Text CASO to 215-543-6454, and you'll get a great Nacho deal on a lifetime learning resource. So I want to share with you, you're here. I'm going to deliver value. It's going to be fun, whether you're watching on Facebook Live, whether you're watching a recording, whether you're watching on Zoom. Here's what I want you to do over the next few minutes. Think of one question I can help you with over the next 30 minutes. If you learn just this one thing, type it into the chat if you're here on Zoom. Put it in as a Facebook comment if you're watching here on Facebook. But I don't know if this is something I should brag about, but I think I post more than any dentist anywhere on social media. And this is what I think about when I post, because right now, one of the only ways for us to connect is virtually. Hopefully that changes soon. But what do I think about when I post online? Because I think about this every time. And I think it helps me be a better member of the community. And I would love for you to think about this, because as someone who manages an almost 29,000 member Facebook group, it can be challenging when a lot of personalities collide, especially dentisting personalities. So maybe if we just did a little more of this, we could make things better. As soon as this video ends, we're going to start our How to Succeed in Dentisting Without Really Crying, our restrictive covenants too restrictive. Put your question in the chat, but I would love if you just took a few minutes, listen to this, and embrace a little bit of this when you post online. What do I think about when I post online? How might I be able to help you a little bit better, makes a lot better dentisting life, posting online? One of my favorite people to listen to is Gary V. Talks about being kind and also showing candor, showing honesty, being real while being respectful. We are not always going to agree, but we always can be supportive, respectful, kind, and show candor. So this is what I think about. I think about one of my favorite people. I think about, what if I was posting and the person who was hearing this comment was one of my favorite people? And I have one of my favorite people right here. Awesome. So you are one of my favorite people on earth. Can you tell everybody who you are?
Daphne.
Daphne. And how old are you?
6.
So I said the other day, imagine if it's your 6-year-old. Imagine if it's your best friend. Imagine if it's your parent that's hearing this comment. How would you change how you typed it? How would you change the feeling behind it? You can still be real. You can still be honest. But we could be less judgmental. We can be less reactive. Context is really difficult online. So I just put on this sweater because we're going to go to a family function. What'd you say about this sweater?
I love it. It's unique.
You love it. It's unique. Awesome. So a lot of people say a different word for this. And I bought this
for one of these unique sweater parties last year. But maybe we shouldn't use that word about sweaters or anything. Maybe we could celebrate uniqueness, because when I put this on, a 6-year-old said, that is a really cool sweater. It's unique. So I want to share with you one of my favorite quotes, and it's from my wife, Mrs. Nacho, Mary's grandfather. They said this quote about him at his funeral, and it typifies and shares why the circle of dentisting, in parentheses, the circle of dentisting life is so important. So let's read this quote together. Can you read it for us, Steph?
Yeah.
Okay, great. If you need help, let me know.
Okay. You give but little when you give of your
Possessions.
possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give.
What a great quote. You give but little when you give of your possessions. It's when you give of yourself you truly give, by Khalil Gibran. It is such a great quote. If someone said that about me at the end of my life, I know I've lived a good life. And this is what they said about Daphne's great grandfather. What a great testament to him. But I want to share something about this. So when I heard this, before Daphne was even born, I went and I had it made into a frame for Mary so she could keep it, and we keep it in our home. And I've taken pictures of this. Now, if we have some dentists out there, do you notice anything a little off? The word Khalil is spelled wrong. And I don't know if I gave it to the person who made it wrong. I don't know if they messed it up. I don't know if I didn't know it. And someone alerted me this and said it's wrong. And I said, oh, thanks for letting me know. I'm going to change it right away. I'm going to take out this. I'm going to put in a new one, get it right, because I'm a dentist. And of course, if it's wrong, well, I can't be wrong. But that person said something that helped me. They said, leave it like that. That little imperfection, that's what life is about. Those drop nachos, those things when things don't go exactly right. That's what it means to be a dad, a husband, a brother, a friend, a dentist, a Dr. Nacho, a leader, a learner, an actual human being. Actual human being comes from the end of the movie of Mean Girls, when they got it, that we're all actual human beings trying to figure this out together. So that's my message. Thanks to Gary Vee for being him and helping.
So it's me, an actual human being. My name is Paul, Dr. Nacho. So glad to be here with you live. So glad to be here with you if you're watching on Nacho Flix or Nacho On Demand. This is how to succeed in dentisting without really crying. How to succeed in dentisting without really crying, because that is one of the most important key performance indicators as a dentist. I've been a dentist for 18 years, practice owner for 15 years, and it is so important to reduce the number of times you feel like crying inside a day. That is the number one key performance indicator.
Daphne, I'm heading to my dental office for the day. Do you have any advice for me?
Remember, you're a dentist, so keep it crying on the inside.
Good tip. Daphne, I'm
So what can we do to eliminate this? Share more, care more, build a better dentisting world together. This is the Nacho plate of my life. I'm a practicing dentist, practice owner, transitions broker, speaker. I love doing all different types of things. It's what excites me every day to get up and find out this one thing. If it doesn't help, it doesn't matter. Whether it's helping a patient chew with an implant overdenture, whether it's helping a practice owner sell their practice and become rad, retired age dentist, whether it's helping a new dentist navigate some wacky thing they didn't even know about. We're going to talk about restrictive covenants today. The more aware we are, the more prepared we are, the better dentisting world we can build together. So what's our checklist for success? I like to deliver value at all times. So one part of this, you see this again, get this book, listen to it. It's one of my favorite books, The Checklist Manifesto by Atul Gawande. It's fantastic. If you are a dentist, a practice owner, a person, somebody who tries to get people to do what you want them to do, or just hold yourself accountable, examine the current state of the dental transitions field, develop word systems to streamline patient communication, 5-minute systems to eliminate confusion and enhance patient service, and strategies to increase patient-centered care and practice profitability. Your dentisting core is everything. It is your mind skills, your word skills, and your clinical skills. Too often dental school only focuses on clinical skills. And then we get out into the real world, like we really need to know how to think our way through things and to also talk. Clinical skills also important. So what we're going to talk about to get started here is the circle of dentisting life. If you're here with me, share where are you in the circle of dentisting life? Which one of these fits you? Just type it in the chat, put it on Facebook. Are you a mad, a bad, a sad, a gad? Tell me where you're at in the dentisting circle of life. So as always, you have people from all different areas of the dentisting circle of life. So what is the VIP questions for you to ask yourself? What is my first step after dental school? Is my associate position a car or boat? So how do you remember things? You write stuff down. I got this great book from one of my friends and sponsors. I write stuff down in these little books like this. So what are you remembering so far? Get the Checklist Manifesto. Awesome book that's going to help you. Is your associate position a car or a boat? This is something you need to answer, whether you're looking for a job or whether you're hiring an associate, whether you are looking for a job or whether you are hiring an associate. And we also have a CAD here. Thanks for putting in the chat. I know who that person is. Really makes me feel good. I just want to let you know, I'm kind of here by myself. I'm with my family. They're just getting a break from me now, but here by myself, I usually love lecturing to people in person. So the more you interact, the better. Ask questions that you're thinking about. So thanks for saying you're a CAD, 5 years out of school. Is my associate position a car or boat? Is something you should ask yourself on every job interview, where you're the one asking the person to work for you or the person who's looking for a job. Here's what this means. A car is a need, a boat is a want. Is the position a position they need an associate? You're replacing an associate that left. Someone's going to retire soon. Or is it a want? They feel really busy. Here's a tip. Busy is a feeling, not a fact. If you take a job because they say they're really busy, make sure there's a really good daily safety net guarantee, because oftentimes those places may not have enough work for you to survive as an associate. Why buying my first practice is pretty much my most important decision of your entire life. Why? I am lucky to work with dentists of all ages and stages, and I go and meet dentists at the end of their career. They may have had 2 to 3 spouses, 2 to 3 houses, but still the same practice. Buying a dental practice is one of the most important decisions you will make. It is not easy to unwind or return. Make sure you do not make it in an emotional way where you don't buy the dental practice that's the right fit for you. $1 million dental practice with 50% overhead may be a terrible fit for one person and an awesome fit for someone else. A $500,000 dental practice where the practice owner makes $180,000 a year may be a perfect fit for someone and a terrible fit for someone else. So just like this world of dating and marriage, finding a job and buying a practice, very, very similar. And how to sell your practice that maximizes happiness and minimizes stress. You should be thinking about selling your practice before you even buy it. Because what does it mean to move on to the next phase of your life? We're here, I'm giving this lecture during 2020. Maybe somebody's watching 10 years from now. Let me give you a heads up, 2020, quite a crazy year, okay? Year started normally, then we just had a worldwide pandemic, which changed everything. So people need to move. People need to take care of family. People's spouses get a better job somewhere else. How can you sell that dental practice? So if you're a dental student watching this, knowing how to sell a dental practice, important skill. So in these VIP questions in the circle of dentisting life here, what questions can I answer for you? So I'm gonna give you a tip right now, a talking tip, a word system, a repeatable thing. Don't say to your hygiene patient at the end of the year of the exam, do you have any questions? Not a yes or no. It's a yes or no answer. They're just gonna say no. Here's what you could say. What questions can I answer for you to help you understand the night guard, your teeth, your periodontal, bone shrinkage, cavity? So at this point in this Nacho TV show, what questions can I answer for you about the circle of dentisting life? And then pause and give people 30 seconds to put something in. Okay, so the dentisting circle of life, just like The Lion King, a movie we've watched a number of times over the pandemic, still a great movie. What are we talking about? Going to dental school, graduating from dental school, doing a GPR or AGD, getting your first job, second job, third job, buying a practice, maybe buying a second practice, hiring an associate yourself, and selling your practice. And this is the key to success at every age or stage. ABC, always be connecting. This is a pre-pandemic video, but we will get back to this at some point. But some of you may need a job now. Is anyone looking for a job in the next 6 months? Throw it in the chat. Let me know if you're looking for a job within the next 6 to 9 months, because how are you going to get your face out there? We're going to talk about making a BTL, bring to life video. Got someone raising their hand, a couple of people raising their hand. So great questions coming up. What things to look for before signing your first contract? Love that question. So really good. We're talking about when we're on the job date, what should we be asking? But how do we get these job dates? How do we get our face out there? So let's take a look at one of my awesome residents from last year sharing. And maybe we can't do this in person as much, but what are ways you can do this via social media, via email, via calling up offices on the phone, via sending a letter? I talk about mechanisms of connection, multiple mechanisms of connection, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, calling offices, emailing offices, stopping by. Let's take a listen here.
What is your name? Hi, my name is Anjali Bhatia.
And where are you in the dentistry circle?
Right now, I'm a resident at a GPR here in Philly at Albert Einstein.
What's the one thing that you learned or liked about today?
I like that we talked about finding our first jobs and what to look for, kind of like red flags in a new job, and basically how to talk to the owner about, finding a good fit for you. Yeah.
Would you recommend dentists come to Nacho networking events?
Yeah, I think it's a great way to learn, not just get connections, which is also important, but also learn how to navigate your way through the dentisting world. There's a lot that we don't learn in school that I think Dr. Goodman does a good job of explaining. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So what are some ways we can replicate that? We're going to be doing some more of this in 2021. I'm someone who runs 40 to 50 in-person events for C and networking a year, and I haven't run any in 6 months, and we don't have any plans to run any in the next 6 months, because here in Center City, Philadelphia, it's not easy to figure out what we're going to do next. But what can we do? We can use Zoom. We can use StreamYard. We're going to have events where hanging out in Zoom chats is going to be the new way of meeting people. Pretty cool. You can do it from your couch in a sweatshirt. This is a sweatshirt from my awesome friend, Dr. Todd Fleischman, one of the best dentists that I know, amazing leader. He just got these sweatshirts for his team from the same place that we do. He's got his crest here with his TAF team. So branding yourself, sharing the fun of what you do, so critical. If you guys want a good task to enhance your life, homework, boring, task to enhance your life, I'd like more of that. Go to thedentalamigos.com and find the Todd Fleischman episode and listen to it. Todd is like me, about 15 years out of school, 15, 20 years out of school. He talks about what he did after his GPR, how he found a position, and how he found his practice, because he was ABC, always be connecting. You have to be, to use a Nacho term, Nacho ordinary to find amazing opportunities. So we have a great question, and this is why I do these things, the Q&A part. What things to look for before signing your first contract as an associate? And here are the 3 questions, okay? We're going to talk about 5 questions later, but why the practice is looking for an associate. Is it a need, car, or boat, want? Here's a great why. Our associate, who we love, was working 4 days a week and got into endo and is now going to an endo specialty program. Awesome. Our associate, who we love, was working 5 days a week and earning $180,000 a year, but her husband has a job where they need to move across the country. His wife is a college professor, and his wife got a great job teaching at Villanova, but we live in Texas, but they have to leave. Dentistry can be a very portable job. Our licensing scenario is challenging. Golden Nacho tip, get as many licenses in states as possible. Don't be cheap. Don't be annoyed. Get as many licenses as possible. It makes you flexible. Geographic flexibility is a huge help. So why is the practice looking for an associate? Second thing to ask before signing a contract. Here's a good question. Oh, this looks like a really great practice. You guys have a great legacy here. What are the procedures you would like me to do here? Like, what would make up most of my day? What do you want to hear? Fillings, crowns, night guards, implant restorations, and general dental procedures. If you hear, oh, we need somebody to do all our molar endos and take out all the tough teeth, that's a red flag, because what that means is they want to turn you into a quasi-specialist, and you don't have that type of training or experience. You want most of your procedures to come from what you were trained to do. It is awesome. And when our Dentist Job Connect platform, just text job to 215-543-6454, we're working with owners every day on this platform to share positions. I have some I can read here later to you guys to show as an example. But what I ask these owners is most of the day going to be made up of general dental procedures? It's great if they can learn to place implants. It's great if they can do endo. It's great if they can do extraction bone grafts. It's great if they can do some sleep apnea. But what is most of the day going to be made up of? Because if most of the day is not made up of the stuff you're trained to do, it's going to be a challenging job. And then finally, how will the associate be compensated? I'm going to give you a not so good answer and a good answer. Before I go to how you will be compensated, does anyone have what questions can I answer at this point for you? What is something you think I say, oh, I never thought of that, Dr. Nacho or Paul, good point, or I'd like to know more about this, because what's key is you're always checking in with the people you're talking to. It's not as easy to do here virtually. This is for patients too. You want to check in. You don't want to be condescending. You don't want to be patronizing. But you want to check in and say, what are some questions I can answer for you about the implant process? You know, where we place it? And they go, Does it only take 2 weeks to heal? And you say, actually, it takes 3 months because you checked in with them and they missed something. And just because they missed something doesn't mean you said the words wrong. It just may have not impacted them the right way, might not have lodged up here the right way. So what questions can I answer for you about this slide here? So now let's talk about compensation. You guys can always toss a question at any time. Also, I'm here on both places. I'll check on Facebook Live too. So what are the 3 questions? Why the practice is looking for an associate, what the practice wants the associate to do, and here, how will the associate be compensated? So do you know how to ask about compensation? No, nobody teaches how to talk to people. Teaches a lot about the Krebs cycle, hasn't helped me once. Teach us how to make mediocre bite rims, also has not helped me. Teach me how to wax up essential incisors, the first thing I did, even though I never did that once afterwards. But how about how to talk to each other? So here's how you talk about compensation. Get a notebook like this, make a little cheat sheet on one side here, and put, oh, Dr. Nacho said, ask about why, what, how, now the compensation one. Say, at this practice, which seems great, how are associates usually paid? How are the associates here usually paid? Also, always make people feel a little bad for you, right? That's really helpful in life. You know, I love being a dentist. I'm looking forward to getting in the real world. I've taken out a lot of debt. It's the first time I'm going to be having a job after dental school. I just want to make sure I can take care of my rent and food and things like that. Is there a daily safety net guarantee here? And you're going to know immediately if the owner's prepared or not. So here are 2 answers. I will play both roles like Brad Pitt from Fight Club or Edward Norton from Primal Fear. Okay, so I'm going to ask myself about money. I'll be you, the interviewee. Hey, Dr. Paul Goodman, this seems like a great place. How are the associates compensated at your office? Okay, here's not a good answer. You eat what you kill. We're pretty busy. We're really busy. Last associate was pretty busy. So, you know, there's no guarantees. You do it. There's gonna be plenty of work for you to do, and you'll be busy and you'll get to do whatever you do. You get a percentage of what you do. Not a good answer. It is not a good answer. Here's how I would answer that as real Dr. Paul Goodman, who has real associates. That's a really good question. It's important to know how you will be paid. The way it works, great transitional phrase. The way it works is you will be paid $500 a day no matter what. So if you work here for 200 days, you'll make $100,000 a year as an employee, no matter what. Now, we hope you make more than that. So the way it works is you'll be paid 33% of net collections. The way that works is whatever you collect, we take 33% after deducting your lab bill. Let me give you an example. If you collect $660,000 over the next 12 months, we'll pay you $100,000 no matter what. But we take $660,000, we subtract $60,000 of your lab bill, and we pay you 33% of it. That's $200,000. So we pay you this $100,000 daily safety net guarantee no matter what. But then quarterly, we will pay you extra. So you would make $200,000, but no matter what, you'd make $100,000. That is a good answer. That's someone who knows their number and is committed to the position. I go over this a lot with new dentists, practice owners. What questions do you have that I can answer about compensation for you? Feel free to put in the chat a question you have about compensation, net collections, adjusted production, draws, daily safety net guarantees. Now's a good time to ask them. I'll be glad to review them with you. Okay, now we're going to keep going. Any questions you guys have, we'll do multiple of these. How do you find out what the collection rate is? Great. What is your opinion on draws? Draws is something you want to look at very carefully with your dental focused attorney. So the way it works for me as the practice owner is your guarantee you never have to pay back. If you work for us for a year and we pay you $100,000 and your net collection was only 80, we do not take 20 back. Get your 100. Now that might not work out for us long-term as a relationship if you're not going above the daily safety net guarantee, but we don't take it back. So draws can be a red flag. Look into that carefully with your dental focused attorney. Are you owed any money back? How do you find out what the collection rate is? Really good question. You should always, if I say play dumb, I don't mean that because I don't want you to be dishonest or disingenuous or not authentic, but it's totally appropriate to use words to get the best answer. So instead of saying, you know, how does collection rates work? You know what I mean? Say, what is the normal collection percentage here after adjustments? One of the key points, if you're watching this, you're going to get super great value in the next sentence. It's not about the collection rate as much as it is about the insurance adjustment. Let me show you in an easy to understand way. So most offices have good collections, okay? Not perfect, but it's not as much the collection rate as the insurance adjustment. Let's use a crown. A crown in Office A costs $1,000. Insurance A writes off $200. So the collectible amount is $800. All right, I'll show you guys this here. Okay, crown $1,000, $800, collectibles $800. You make 33% of that. So you're going to get in the neighborhood of $258. Okay, $258. Now, if they take spoiled guac PPO and a crown is $1,000, but spoiled guac PPO pays $510 for a crown, your insurance adjustment there is $490. So the most you make is 33% of $510. So a lot of times offices will proudly say, we have great collections, and they might, but what's the insurance adjustment? So I'll use my own office. I have two offices. Our office that is more towards the fee-for-service side with some PPOs, our total adjustment is about 12 to 15%. Our PPO office, those total adjustments could be close to 30% plus. So if you work in the PPO office, that's important for you to understand. So collection rate's important, but what's more important is what's the average percentage of insurance adjustments. So you're not getting stuck doing $500 crowns. If the owner's charging $1,200, it doesn't, not judging the $500 price. That's just a tough way to make it if the insurance adjustment is so far away from the list price. Restrictive covenants, are they too restrictive? Here are questions you want to ask yourself. I am a practice owner that's given contracts to associates, and anything I put in their restrictive covenant is something I would sign myself. Reasonable. Reasonable is based on geography. Where you are, 5 miles in Philadelphia, Center City might be crazy. In Texas, it might be too few miles. Is it a reasonable distance? What does your attorney say? What would you do if you were the practice owner hiring an associate? Does anyone here think restrictive covenants shouldn't be a thing? You should, no such thing. They're illegal, they're immoral, they should be terrible. California seems to have this rule where there's no such thing as restrictive covenants, but think, what if you're the practice owner and you have someone work for you for 3 years? Do you want to make it so that they can open up next door? Or do you want to make it so that they have some restriction of 3 miles, 5 miles? Do not sign one that's unreasonable. What will happen? One, it's expensive to find out if it's enforceable. You have to you go to court, pay an attorney. Two, if you sign a restrictive covenant, I sell practices, and you say, oh, hey, Paul, I want to buy this practice, and I got Jennifer and Jake who want to buy it. Jennifer signed a restrictive covenant that's 10 miles from where she practices. Jake has one that's 5 miles, and the practice falls within Jennifer's restrictive covenant. And Jennifer wants to fight a restrictive covenant. By the time she fights it and wins, Jake will have already bought that practice. A bank is not going to give you a loan if you're trying to buy a practice within your restrictive covenant, no matter how unfair you might think it is. So here's my suggestion. Look really hard at your contract, engage a dental focused attorney, and do not sign a contract with an uncomfortably unreasonable restrictive covenant. The key to life is me is what I put in there is managing expectations. It's just a management of expectations. So if a practice owner starts out with a super unreasonable restrictive covenant, it's a red flag. It's a total red flag. If you're in Center City, Philadelphia, and your dream is to open up a practice down the street from where you live, then don't take a job with a restrictive covenant there. Look for a job outside the city as an example. What questions can I answer for you guys on the restrictive covenant process? Feel free to ask them. This is, do you think 20 miles is reasonable if it's for a specific type of practice model? It sounds like that could be reasonable in a place like Texas if people travel 30 miles. In the Northeast, that would be unreasonable in almost any state. So what is the norm for that geography? So 20 miles sounds immediately unreasonable, but if people travel 30, 40 miles to see a dentist in that area, I would say no. The best thing I do, look at this slide right here. Everyone here, like I was a Simpsons fan, do not sign a contract for employment without having a dental focused attorney review it first. So there's 2 reasons dentists do not hire an attorney to review their employment contract. There's 2 reasons. Do you know what the 2 reasons are? There are 2 reasons. You can put it in the chat. You can put it in the Facebook Live. There are 2 reasons why dentists do not hire a dental focused attorney to review their contract. Does anyone know? 1, they're too cheap. It's the worst thing to be cheap on. You've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to school. If it's $700, $800, $2,000, $1,500, there's no such thing as too expensive to review a contract that protects you. The other reason, you don't know one, right? You don't know one. It's too expensive. You don't know one. Well, I'm going to tell you, yourdentallawyer.com, Rob Montgomery, my podcast partner. Lawyers are different than dentists. They can usually work in more states, but not every state. Go to yourdentallawyer.com, Rob Montgomery. Go to thedentalmigos.com. That's our podcast. And now you know Rob and his team. If Rob and his team can't help you in a state, they'll find someone who can help you. I got a good question here. How do I feel about working without a contract? I feel meh about it. Here's why. The good part about working without a contract is there's no restrictive covenant. The good part is you could leave whenever and you don't have to stay for 30 days. The bad part is it's a little weird to not want to give someone a contract because a contract outlines expectations. So I know as dentists, we love to think when things go wrong, is there peri-implantitis on proper peri-implantitis? I'd like to know more about that, even though it barely happens. What's the main part of a contract? Listing out expectations like the checklist manifesto for your job, how you're going to be paid, benefits. If you don't have a contract, what's to say they just say leave one day? What if they don't pay you, right? Anyone cannot pay you, but if they have signed a contract saying they're going to pay you, that's more helpful than if they don't pay you. So in general, I don't like working without a contract. But if I put it in order, good contract, reasonable to both sides. No contract, terrible contract. So no contract is better than terrible contract. But is it a red flag that an owner doesn't want to give you a contract? To me, that's a red flag. I want to give contract to all of our associates, whether they work for contracts them, whether they work for us 1 day or 5 days. What's the website to find a lawyer? Here's what you guys can do. You can just do two things here. Email dental focused attorney rec to salsa@dentalnachos.com because we can give you the accountants, the attorney, all of those things. There's some are Nacho sponsors. They're totally people who I like and support, but some are definitely sponsors of the group, but they're great people to talk to about these big decisions, or yourdentallawyer.com, yourdentallawyer.com. Any advice when you're in an office and you're the only associate accepting insurance? If you leave that office and patients choose to follow you, what do? There's no restrictive covenant, but there's no solicitation clause. Excellent question. The no solicitation clause can be very, very confusing. So if you leave an office and you don't make an active effort to contact those patients, you should be in the clear. But just like that video I showed in the beginning, if you say you're at a new office on social media, can they say that you're trying to contact them? Lawyers are just like personal trainers. Call them up and have a conversation and pay for it. You will not regret it. I have not ever regretted getting good advice. So reach out to a dental focused attorney and say, hey, I'm going to leave this job. I want to make sure, and ask them for like a treatment plan of cost. I mean, a 1 hour conversation, they likely can give you insight and you're going to pay $300, $400, $500. Great insight. Now, if they have to rework your whole contract, that means there's some red flags in there. It's always better to find out first, JFO, just find out first, even if it costs you money, because then you're aware and prepared for the next step. That story in the beginning is a true story. A dentist is opening up a practice and cannot use their social media accounts because the practice they're leaving is being so tough about it. They're trying to fight it. They're trying to do things, but that's the situation they're in. I just connected somebody for a job, and this dentist was leaving a practice where he signed a contract where he said he had to give 6 months notice. That's totally unreasonable. And he didn't have a dental focused attorney look at that contract and regrets it. Do not be cheap or be unaware about one of the most important decisions of your life, how you protect your career and what you could do next. It's just as much about money as it is about your morale. Golden Nacho tip, it's just about much about money as it is about your now. Really great questions coming in here. Develop your own team because people that love you sometimes give you terrible advice. So look at this picture. I'm going to take my face off the screen. Look at this picture. This is my amazing niece, Vivian, in front, and my daughter, Daphne, behind her. I said at the beach, come in for dinner. You see those steps? I thought they'd walk up it. Nope, they walked around my car and went in the most dangerous way possible. Before I leapt up to make sure they didn't fall, I took this picture because I knew it would be good for a lecture. So that's how committed I am to teaching you. Don't have your dental school instructor say restrictive covenants are not enforceable. You don't ask your attorney about implant advice. Don't have your dad or mom or brother or sister or friend say, it's no big deal. If you have a restrictive covenant that's too far, it's no big deal. If your notice is 60 days, they can't enforce those anyway. Don't do it. There's many dentists that reach out to me crying inside, sometimes on the outside, sharing that they wish they had thought of this sooner. Some of those poignant things that I get make me feel great, but also make me feel sad inside. For finding a job and buying a practice, or I wish I had met you sooner, Paul. I wish I had heard this information from Dental Nachos or dentalamigos.com sooner. Be aware and prepared about the most important decision of your dentisting career. Checklist Manifesto is one of the best books I've ever read. I want to go over a few more topics here for about 5 or 10 minutes. Please ask any other questions you have. I always good to give a heads up as to when you're going to be wrapping things up as a dentist or a speaker. So finding your first job, what to ask, how to get your face out there, avoid red flags, how to get a better associate position, be geographically flexible, improve your dentisting core, take CE courses, not just on clinical, but on patient communication, treatment plan acceptance, and will there be a potential for a partnership there? For some of you, that will be great. Some won't be, it's not something you're interested in. Your only practice purchase brokers, LOIs, APAs, and do not be dentist cheap on your team of advisors. Working with a broker, if they are a dual representation broker, can be very, very dangerous thing to do. It's key. You get your own team of advisors. Who are some people that should be on this team? Dental focused accountant, dental focused attorney, financial coach, a buyer coach, possibly a confidant on your side, a bank on your side, building your team. We have tons of content on building your team. You can learn about it through the Dental Nachopedia. Just text queso to 215-543-6454 and you'll get an amazing offer. There's so much content on this there. I'll just put this in the chat because this is something you should care just as much about as your crown prep taper. So how can you get your face out there? What are the 5 questions to ask? Where's the job? Why do they need an associate? How will you be paid? What procedures are there to do? And is there anything fun to do in the area? You cannot be a dentist, a very stressful job with nothing fun to do. So you better, if you like hiking, put it in your hiking. If you like being indoors, make sure there's museums in the area. Those are the 5 questions. Bring to life videos, red flags and dental focused attorneys we've talked about. Increase the number of options for maximum success. So what that means is be active in getting your resume out, your face out there. Be active on social media, call up offices. You want 4, 5, 6 options, not one option, because if you have one option, you're likely going to take a job that's not a good fit. This 29 seconds is what all of you could do. Everyone here likely owns a cell phone or an iPad. Make this BTL video. I'd love for you guys to share with me what's something that stood out to you from this video. Because if I was applying for a job right now, this is the first thing I would do. I would make this video 30 to 60 seconds, put it on YouTube, make it my email signature, put it in my Facebook for myself, put it in my Instagram bio. Tell me what stands out to you from this video.
Tell me when I can go. Hi, my name is Paul Dr. Nacho Goodman. I went to Penn Dental School and graduated in 2002. After dental school, I did a GPR residency at Albert Einstein where I learned how to place implants, do endo, get faster with restorative procedures. I would love to find a job in the Philadelphia area, and I would love to meet you. My cell phone is 267-896-1942. My email is paul@dentalnachos.com. Please feel free to reach out to me at any time.
So what stood out to you about that video? My name, what I like to do, how to contact me. You will set yourself apart if you make yourself a BTL, bring to life video that you can send to anyone, not just the people you're applying to for jobs. How about the connectors like our organization at Dental Nachos? Send that to Jill at send that to Jill at dentalnachos.com or jobconnect@dentalnachos.com, and we can help connect you for positions. People want to see people's faces, 30 to 60 seconds about you, who you are, what you're looking to do, how they can contact you. Don't put your personal cell phone if you don't feel comfortable. Get a Google Voice number. Create an email just for this. How many of you have unsubscribed from an email list from a dental company? Could be ours, Dental Nachos, Dental Clinical Pearls, Cosmodent, Shine. Raise your hand if you've unsubscribed from an email list because you were annoyed by the number of emails that were clogging up your inbox. I know many of you have. That's an insane thing to do if you're looking for a job or to buy a practice. These are all resources that connect you. I totally get when you have fancy pants 222 at Hotmail, you got this whole email inbox that's crazy. Here's a tip. Make a dental business email. Make an email, drpaulgoodmandmd@gmail.com, and give it just to those companies, because there's could be that one tip, that one email, that one CE, that one convention, that one where it doesn't have to be Del Notch sends out. There's a job in Seattle, Washington, and you're going to find it, but you can't find it if you're not connected. So what I would like to share now, I'm so impressed, more people have joined as we've done this, is what are some questions I can answer for you before we wrap up here? This is just a segment of what we can learn about this. It's always good for segments to be 30 to 60 minutes. These are all on our YouTube pages too. All these videos are on there for you to listen to. Also the Dental Nachopedia. Just text CASO to 215-543-6454. I want to share one of our systems with you. If you want a copy of our purple implant form, which helps people move forward with implants, just email purple form to freenachos@dentalnachos.com, and we will be glad to send it to you. It's a great way to increase patient-centered production and profitability in a fun way. Walks you through every step of the implant process, the codes, all the things you can use. Great, great tool for you to use. So it looks like we have no questions at this time. Let's just see if there's anything else I wanted to share with you guys. We'll end on this video here from Jill at Job Connect, who's my sister and also runs Job Connect. So this is always about one thing. What is one thing you can do? You sat here, you learned, you're watching live, you're watching on demand. What's one thing you're going to do right now? My recommendation, get connected with all the open jobs. Be on the lookout for jobs. Maybe one for a friend. Maybe you're D3 and somebody wants an associate in a year. Stay connected to people who can help you. Stay connected to two people who can help you. Sometimes that's us at Dental Nachos and Dentist Job Connect. Sometimes that's specialists. Sometimes that's reps. Sometimes that's people that you know in the industry. Get connected and stay connected to people that can help you. ABC, always be connecting. Thanks so much for joining me here. If you want to learn about anything that we do at Dental Nachos, just reach out to us at dentalnachos.com. If any of you have any questions for me, you can email me at salsa@dentalnachos.com, or you can text that number on the screen. It's attached to my cell phone. I have it on me almost all the time. If you have a question about something, someone I can connect you to. ABC is also about always be caring, and that's what we stand for here at Dental Nachos, a world where we care more, share more, build this better dentisting world together. Thanks, guys.
You know, in the dental world today, there's a lot of people that are looking for positions within a practice, and there's a lot of practices that are looking for someone to fill those positions. Here at Dental Nachos, we've got something that can help you by using our Job Connect program that puts people together. So you can find just that right person, just that right position through Dental Nachos. And today, got a treat for you. We've got Jill Ruggieri here, who is joining us right now, and she's in charge of that as a coordinator for it. Jill, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Terry. This is
Well,
great.
tell us from a kind of big picture point of view, from the 40,000 foot point of view first, what this program does, kind of how it puts people together.
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's like a job matchmaking service. So we find opportunities for job seekers to connect with practices that are looking to add an associate or an in-house specialist, and we just connect them in various ways via text, email, and just kind of get them connected.
Okay, so tell me, let me get a little bit more in depth here. How do you do that? How have you done that in the past, making those connections?
Yeah, often a practice will reach out to us saying that they have an opportunity where they'd like to add an associate or add an in-house specialist. And our team creates a customized advertised listing for them, and we share that in various ways to our Dental Nachos community. And then we find different job seekers that have joined our program that share with us different states where they want to practice. And then just the matchmaking continues from there. If somebody has an opening in New Jersey and we have dentists looking that have a license in New Jersey, we then make connections that way.
Very nice. I can see how that's going to help a lot of people. Now, I want to take advantage of you being here because you are really brilliant in what you're doing with social media. I've seen what you're doing, and I'm a person that works in that a lot. And I look at you going, whoa, this is nice. I want you to tell us a little bit about what you're doing and be specific on some of the social media platforms, what you're doing with like Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, or what you're using and what you're not doing, so we can see a little bit of what's going on.
Yeah, so these customized ads about the openings, we share them in our Facebook group that has about 28,000 members. We also share them in our Job Connect Facebook group that has just specific job seekers. And we have a lot of success sharing these open positions on Instagram in both our stories and our still frames that go out to our community, which we have a pretty large following. We also, in customized ways, can share about the positions on other platforms as well, LinkedIn and Twitter too.
Okay. Now, I understand you also work with students, dental students, and this. Tell me how, if a student is watching this going, hey, I'd like to get some more information on this, what you do for them.
Sure. So Dr. Nacho and our team believe in always be connecting. So the job search and the job process we believe begins when dental school begins. So it's never too early to kind of get in the loop, to get tips and tricks and great ways to find a job and to just learn about open positions. So we highly encourage dental students, especially D3s and D4s, to join our program simply by emailing jobconnect@dentalnachos.com, and then we will share with them the different ways they can get looped into our programs.
Okay, well, let me put that up again here. We got one of those fancy schmancy graphics there. Say that again. And for somebody who might be listening to this with audio only, sometimes we'll do it that way, please spell that out for them as well.
Sure, they can email us at jobconnect@dentalnachos.com, JOBCONNECT @dentalnachos, DENTALNACHOS.com.
You're doing that so well. We really like that. That's good. And by the way, that does help because sometimes people, why they said it so fast. Well, now we do it. And also understand they can reach you to send a text or call. And that number on the screen there, please read that out for us.
Sure, 267-800-3196.
All right. Well, a lot of good there. You can get us in touch with us that way or other ways. Jill, any final words before we say goodbye?
No, we're excited to hear from both practices looking to add an associate or an in-house specialist. And then we also love to hear from our job seekers and help them get connected with great opportunities and to learn more about open positions.
Jill, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks, Terry, for having me.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Really fun. I enjoy hanging with you guys on Zoom. Hopefully we all get to meet face to face in 2021 or at least 2022. Have a great rest of your day.